Good morning, Clearview Church. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday morning. Hope you can grab a cup of coffee and just take some time to hear about our budget, where we've been, how faithful God has been to our church, and then the anticipation of what we're looking forward to in 2026. And I have some great friends here, co-workers with me that I want to introduce. Blaine Jackson is our newest team member of the elder team, also served a long time as the chair of the admin team. And then Francie, who we all know, who is our fearless admin leader, and she is on staff. And then Dave is one of our volunteer leaders, and he chairs the admin team, and we're thankful to have you guys here. We want to kind of talk into where we've been and where we're going. This budget process is something that we start in June. We start to get feedback from our ministry leaders with their budget. How is it going? How are you seeing the growth? What are you anticipating coming up in the future? And we have them give us our requests. If it's a higher request, we have them come in and meet with us so we can hear kind of the vision and where they're going. And in July, we do our first joint meeting. And then we kind of kick the budget back and forth from the admin team to the elders. We refine it. We ask clarifying questions with the leaders. And we get it to the point of what we're presenting today to bring before you as a proposed budget. So we're going to do the straight talk today, give you this information. We will have a forum next Thursday. If you have questions, you can come to that. You can also call the office or talk to any of us about questions. And then the Sunday after this Sunday, we're going to be having our joint meeting between the two services. So we're gonna jump in here. Let's start with, I think, what is one of our most exciting projects this year, which is this Creekside building. So give us a little bit, Dave, about this building and where it came from and what we've done since January.
Yeah, so about a year ago, doesn't seem possible, but it was about a year ago, a local ministry came to us and said, we can no longer operate this, and so we would like to gift it to Clearview and have you all take it over. There was a lot of thoughtful consideration, a lot of prayer. We actually had a congregational vote, and we agreed to take this gift, and it's been a wonderful gift for us. It's an old building. It had a number of renovations that needed to be done. It needed some updating from the standpoint of getting back in the good graces with the town, and so we undertook that. You can see some pictures of these are just a few of the army of volunteers that jumped in and stood up and said, let me help. And so we didn't really have any labor cost. We've had mostly just materials. There's been a few things that we've had to contract out, but most of this has been done by volunteers. And then we paid for the hard materials that went into this. So it has officially been in use since about the 1st of September. And in that time, it's really proven to be a blessing. It's taken a lot of pressure off of this building. You'll see a slide later that talks just how busy it is around here. And this has been a blessing from that standpoint. So right now, we've got 22 high school boys that meet there on a morning of the week. We've got now 29 high school girls that meet there. We've already, that has led to a brand new junior high girls group that meets there. There's 12 kids there. We've got a ESL, that's the group that started. You'll hear a little bit more about that later. It's already up to 29 people that use it. We have 3 small groups that meet there. And Tom has a Sunday school class there on Sunday mornings. So it's already busy, and it's really taken a lot of pressure off of this facility.
Yeah.
So.
It's been wonderful. We're having an open house on Sunday.
Exactly.
We would love for you to stop by and to see it. And we want to say a big thank you. Thank you to Francie. She has headed up this project as a staff member, but thank you to all the volunteers that have gotten this up and going. And we're excited just to see how God's going to continue to use it. Next year, we'll tackle the outside. The outside has some challenges that we're going to need to address, but the inside is really, it's looking great. The other big project that we finished this year that's been about 10 years in the process is the playground, Will's Playground. So Francie, tell us a little bit about Will's Playground.
Oh, yeah. So this is kind of our dream come to fruition. We're in phase 3 of that, and this year we had enough funds to go ahead and start that up. We added the swing set and a climbing dome to the playground and a good surface there. We got started just in time to finish for VBS, which was our goal, and it was so exciting. See, everybody on that climbing, this is so fun. I love seeing all of the volunteers and the kids out there on Sunday mornings and at VBS. It was a great project. We have just a little bit left. We have the sign, it's made, it's not mounted yet, and we need to finish a little bit of fence for windbreak on that. But that was phase 3 to completely finish the playground this year.
Yeah, it's been great. So thanks for everybody who helped with that. Let's talk just generally about the schedule of building usage. We have a couple slides here that Andrea put together. These are just events that are happening every single week that are, that just are reoccurring. And so these represents the days of the week. This is Saturday and Sunday. So those, obviously Sunday is booked up here, but we don't have a lot over there. But these are the mornings that we have going on. And then these are the afternoons and evenings. And so it's been an incredible year of just this facility getting used, from morning till night.
Right. A lot of those things start early in the morning, about 6:30 in the morning. We have groups come in, followed by the 8 mid-morning groups that come in. So yes, this building has people in here from 6:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, most every day of the week.
Yeah.
It is a lot of people, and it's a lot of space that's being used.
It's a lot of space that's being used. And also, a lot of outreach. We allow this facility to be used for community events, for practices for community choir. We also have a pretty sizable homeschool group that uses our facility throughout the week with teachers that come in and out. And so it's a wonderful place to work because there's people all around. And I want to give a big shout out here to our custodians. We're going to talk later about the numbers that have gone up. But the number of our custodians haven't gone up, but the number of hours our custodial team is working and using their gifts to really bless us is great. So lots of use in our facility. Let's zoom in on a couple of really exciting things for our church. The first is our greenhouse ministry and VBS. Let's talk a little bit about how that's grown, and we've seen kids come in.
Yeah, so to give the congregation a look at just how this church has grown, I mean, it's obvious. You sit here Sunday morning and it's pretty crowded, and but our youth programs have had some just magnificent growth as well. So I spent a little time with both of our youth leaders and got some numbers just to give you a simple graph here. But with Julie's greenhouse kids, about 7 years ago, she started with about 30 was her average that she was having. Today, between the two services, there's 90 kids, and that's kind of an average. They're 90 consistently. There are many more kids that come and go, but there's 90. And Julie said just every week there's a new kids that show up. And so that's a real blessing. Of course, our Vacation Bible School, that is just incredible. Again, about 7 years ago, we had 125 kids coming to Vacation Bible School. That number's now up to 225 that we had this last summer. And not included in that 225 was 100 volunteers that it takes to run that. So hats off to Julie and the staff that help with that and take care of those 225 kids. In our older kids groups, the Link and the Varsity, we'll start with Link first. That's our junior high age kids. This is over about a 3-year span. So we started with about 17 that were coming, and now we're up to an average of 45. There's 115 different kids that have come, though. So not all 115 of those kids come every Sunday, but it averages 45. What a blessing. The Varsity stayed, again, about a 3-year look back. We were at 17. We're up to 60 on an average basis. That's pretty consistent. There's been about 120 different kids that make up that 60 that show up to the meetings on a consistent basis.
Yeah, lots of growth. Our youth ministry does a meal for all those kids, so we feed all 100 to 120 kids every Wednesday. Group of leaders, small groups, worship. So it's a great team that's grown to reach out to our teens. Lots of other ways that we could dive into what's been going on over this last week or this last year. I want to talk a little bit about, we have all this growth. How has the congregation responded and new people gotten involved in giving? And Dave's put together a cool graph here with some numbers of how our families have gotten involved in pitching in for ministry.
Yeah. So one of the things the admin team does is they take a look at the number of family giving units that we have. So this is some information that we've done in the last year where we've compiled the family giving units over this time period that started back in 2020. So 2020, we had 330 family giving units here. 21 stayed about the same, dropped a little bit. Back up in 2022 as we were going into COVID. Coming out of COVID, we stayed about the same. 2024 over there, you can see, jumped up to 482 family giving units. And in year to date for 2025 is 629. So we've had some tremendous growth in folks that support our church, and what a blessing.
Yeah, it is. Incredible blessing. Blaine, talk a little bit about staff compensation. We've had kind of a multi-year plan to bring staff up to more of a living wage here in Buena Vista. Tell us a little bit about that.
First, I'd like to say that we're really blessed to have an amazing staff here at Clearview. And for the leadership of the church, the staff has been a priority. And as Zach mentioned, a while back, there was some research done on salaries, wages for church staff, pastors, and we found out that we were quite a bit behind. And so based on that, the elders decided to first try to bump the pastoral staff up over a 3-year period. So incrementally each year they got a increase in as well as cost of living. And that happened in 22, 23, and 24. So in 25, we started working on getting the salaries and wages up for the rest of the non-pastoral staff. And that's included in the 2026 budget proposal. Everybody's getting a 3% overall cost of living. And then the non-pastoral ministry staff is getting an additional 7%. So the overall increase for compensation this year is about 6.3%.
6.3 overall to that line item. And we'll jump in on that. We have an annual report that we've been putting out. Amber McManamy has done a great job, one of our admin team members. And that'll be available on Sunday for you to look through. We barely scratched the surface as far as, all the ministries and the growth and the different things that have happened. But pick one of those up and just thumb through it. It's also a great way, if you're newer to the church, hey, where would I like to get involved? It kind of gives a good overview of what's going on in our ministry and our vision. So we'll have those available for the next few months for people to pick up. Let's talk money as far as our giving, and our cash position for 2025.
Yeah, so we'll go through this slide really quickly. We're always aware of what we've got in the bank. And we've got essentially two funds. We've got our regular operating account and we have our savings account, okay? So within this number, this slide will look different. This is as of 9/30, but it'll look different as of 10/31. So with our operating account, we try to keep that number at about 120,000. So 25 of that's going to move down into our savings, our money market account, okay? And then within this money market account, we have two things that go into that, this capital reserve and the money market. So, and then we have a CD on top of that. So savings and CD and our total operating go together. We have about $500,000 in the bank. Rule of thumb that the admin team uses is that we want to keep 3 months worth of operating expenses in our savings account. So based on our current budget, that's $94,000. 3 months is $282,000. So when you take the calculation and say our savings less our capital reserve, we're right at the $4,000. Now, one thing that's going to look really different, in our budget for last year, we had $30,000 budgeted for Creekside, and the other expenses that it's taken so far to get Creekside up to space is covered out of this capital reserve. So that money that won't be there. What we hope to do, and we think we can do, is with excess funds next year, we can replenish that capital reserve out of excess money that we have there, so we won't need to hit our budget for that. So for the upcoming budget, we're looking at $101,000 a month. 3 months of that is $300,000, and after that 25 gets moved into the checking, that will erase this deficit here. So we're in good shape from a cash position.
Yeah. So thank you again for everyone who's been giving, and our giving and need. We'll talk about that just for a few minutes. Our giving need has been $848,000. The need, when we talk about that on our paperwork, is the need that we have to reach our budget, right? And so talk a little bit about how we're doing on a monthly basis.
So that giving need, essentially that's last year's budget divided by 12 times 9 as of 9/30. So we've had a need of about 848. Our giving has been 832. Shows us $16,000 underwater there. However, that number fluctuates. Those need, that's just a flat math calculation. Some months that's greater. We pay our insurance annually, for example. We pay other fees annually. Other things come monthly. So those need numbers fluctuate up and down. So the fact that it's 16 under doesn't really concern the admin team at this point in time. So we're close. We're right there. As far as the budget, we, again, $848,000 is our budget. Our actual expenses this year have been $852, which includes some Creekside overage, a number there. So we are actually over our budget, only $4,000.
Yeah. And let me clarify something you said. Our expenses go up and down, but our need doesn't, because our need is the budget number.
Exactly.
Right. And so sometimes we get that confused. So the need, when we talk about that, is how much we need to meet our budget. Our expenses go up and down. That's what we need to pay our bills each month. And we have spent $4,000 over our budget. We're right there as we head into the end of the year here. All right, proposed budget. Let's talk about the future. Our proposed budget for 2026, This is what we're looking for. We believe that God has blessed these ministries, and we're looking for ways to continue the ministries that are happening there. And so we're going to be proposing an 8% overall proposed increase over 2025, and the weekly need will go up from 21,744 to 23,399. And here's our main categories for our budget that we're going to look at. Let's dive in a little bit to missions. Blaine, give us an update on missions, what we're looking at.
So the international missions team led by Alan and Sarah Bouchard is getting an increase. As you can see there, they support 14 monthly missionaries, and then they have 20,700 of discretionary funds. Salt and Light's our local county missions team led by Steve Blount, and you can see all the different ministries there that are supported, and they also have 13,500 in discretionary and benevolent funds. So the total increase for missions this year is 8%, which is
a good increase. We always like to point out that the benevolent fund, transient fund, comes out of short-term missionary funds. That's when people that aren't a part of our congregation come and ask for resources. We need help with propane. We need help with housing. We have a car broke down. Our office has people every day come in. They fill out a form, and that team allocates money to those, and we pay that money right to the needs that come in. And so that's increasing, and part of that money is going to that. We're not giving an increase this year in benevolent funds. Benevolent funds include our pastors' discretionary funds, deacon ministry, and care ministry funds. We gave that a pretty good increase last year, and so we're not doing an increase there. Let's talk about compensation expenses. We've already kind of gone over this, but an increase of 6.3%. These are all of our staff positions and our FICA, but from our IT manager, which has been, he's in the back recording this, all the way through. We're going to be giving cost of living increases, and then we're going to be giving the directors or admin team, administrators in the office are going to be getting a 7% on top of the 3%. So we covered that a little bit. Anything else that we want to say on compensation?
I think that covers it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Worship budget. Worship budget is getting an increase, which is a fairly high increase. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in there.
Well, a lot of that is going to be in the worship stipend. That's where we pay guest speakers, some of our IT tech people, when they cover memorial services and things like that. Most of that is going to go in that direction.
Yeah.
We do have some, everything costs a little bit more. If you're buying music or music tracks or something, it's all going to cost a little bit more. But those increases were minimal.
Yeah. And one of the things we've started to do, you'll see this in two areas I wanted to point out. We are doing a staff chapel and core volunteer chapel on a regular basis for people who aren't able to take communion. And we are bringing in a guest speaker to speak to our staff, a guest worship leader to come in and minister to our staff, and key volunteers. A lot of the greenhouse leaders come, our elders come. And we just think this is a really important thing for us to be able to get ministered to as we minister to others. And so we're paying some people to travel, and that's coming out of that stipend. And also, we don't have numbers, but more and more memorial services for the community here. And when that happens, we're paying our tech folks, we're paying our musicians, and so that need has increased, and that's what you're seeing with the worship, the stipends there. Our next increase. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I love our staff chapels. Thank you
Yeah.
for adding that to the calendar and the agendas, because it really is important to our staff.
Yeah.
We feel like we work on Sundays and we don't get to worship, and so it's really important. And thank you for making that
That's
possible.
been great. We shut the doors for a while, and we just sit and worship together, and it's been really important. Okay, discipleship includes a lot of what we're talking about here. This is about taking care of the folks that are coming through our doors, pointing them to Christ, teaching them the Word, all of those things that are going out. So in our discipleship, we're asking for a 15% increase. A lot of this is in the areas of youth ministry, the ESL class, which is English as Second Language class that we have started. What are some of the other updates that are going into this?
Yeah, the children's ministry is where we have that father-daughter dance. So it gave them a little bit of a boost so we can host more of those dads and daughters. The women's ministry and some of these others did not ask for an increase. The men's ministry, I am so fascinated how they've gotten so many guys to go to that retreat. But every year there are more and more men that go there, so we gave them a little help to help host that and cover those expenses for our guys. Keep up the good work. Kent and Jonathan and Phil, y'all are doing a great job. The porch asked for a little, the small groups asked for a little bit of a hike this year to cover some of their expenses, but what a ministry our small groups are, creating family, the family feel and connections with our congregation. The ESL is at an English second language that we started over at Creekside. That just blew up. It grew from like 3 people to the 25 kind of overnight. We want to keep reaching out to our local community that way. The youth group did take a hike. Some of that is we split the VBS budget. That 6th grade group, Adventure Week, we put that into the youth ministries and gave them a little increase to help cover that because we, again, had almost 30 kids just in that part. Yeah. Anyway, that's most of it. The spiritual renewal seminars, counseling, that's going to help cover some of those staff needs, conferences, that kind of thing. There's a little bit of an increase there.
Yeah. So that's going to be well used. And then let's talk about general administrative pieces. This is an increase of 7%. A lot of this is just the fees and how expenses have gone up around here.
Francie said it, things cost more.
Yeah.
And also included in that, you can see here, since we really haven't operated Creekside on a monthly basis yet, we don't have a real firm grasp on what it takes to pay the monthly bills, the heat and the light and all those things. So we've got a $30,000 just line item for Creekside. As we go through the year, we'll break that out a little more and get a little better handle on that. But yeah, everything has gone up. And so I felt blessed that we could keep that to an overall 7% increase. That same 30,000 was in there last year, so that's not new. But increase of 7% on those things, I think, was a blessing.
Yeah, on all those pieces. So this is the general increase that we're looking for. I think we're really optimistic about this next year in terms of giving units. How many of you have jumped in to give as the Lord provides? We're hoping that in this 7% increase, just as the Lord provides for you, that you're able to bring that as an offering, and the Lord will continue to meet our needs like He has every year. Every year since I've been here, we've had an increase in the budget, and every year, I think that's 17 years that our budget's been building, and over that time, every year, God has provided that need. The ministries continue to grow. It's incredible to watch all of that. So we want to say again, thank you. Not just some of you are able to give more money, less money. You're able to give with your time, your volunteering. Some of you that are participating. But we just want to say thank you so much for all the ways that you're involved in helping out and giving to this budget. So on a budget day, we'll hand this out. This is what it'll look like, our 2025 budget, our 2026 budget. We've given you a ton of details, but there may be something that you'd like to zoom in more on, have more questions about. Please feel free to reach out to any of us, call the church office, come to that forum that we're going to be having next Thursday. We're going to be doing that on the forums at the church on Thursday, and it's going to be at 6 o'clock. Is that the time that we have on there? And then for the annual meeting, we'll present that pretty quickly. We'll have a chance for some, clarifying questions. But that meeting is, a pretty short amount of time. And so if you have questions, please reach out to us. We would love to show you anything that you're interested in as far as the finances. Thank you guys so much for taking your time this morning and all the time, all the hours of meetings that it takes to get to this straight talk. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of going back over. There's a lot of prayer. And I'm so thankful for our teams, the way that they take this process so seriously and set us up and the congregation for, I think, a great year every year. So thanks for joining us, and I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow for worship, and we look forward to seeing you around the community. Hopefully you'll come by the Creekside Open House and just see all the work that's been done there and that beautiful facility. So God bless. Have a great day.